So let us begin our next meditation with the question, who am I? And without trying to come to an answer from the mind, let us simply allow that question to sit within us. Who am I? Without words. And as you sit with that question, free from the mind, free from words or analysis or thought in the usual way, simply see what comes. We're not asking for words, but for experience. Who am I? How do you experience yourself in this moment? Are you feeling, experiencing your I am presence? Or are you drawn into the mind, thinking about all your identities, all the thoughts about who you think you are? Find that pure experience of who you are, beyond words, beyond the mind, beyond the ego. And you open the way for your higher self, from your soul star chakra above your head, to enter through your crown, through your aura, as the I am of your higher self can descend into your consciousness, into your experience. As you allow yourself to merge into this light that descends, to become one with it, not by doing, but by allowing. You experience the light of self. And your consciousness moves from the ego mind to the divine self, which is simply light, pure consciousness, infinite presence. And as you affirm from within your heart, I am, Your true consciousness as a being of light expands within you, and you know yourself to be light. As you enter more and more fully into this experience of your true self, you gently surrender to it. And you allow this experience to move down through your chakras. And this light of spirit continues to expand, to build within you. A soul experience. This is where your self-worth lies, where your worth as a soul is. For all souls are equal. All souls are worthy of respect and of the love of the Creator. And you enter into the flow of love, moving through all things throughout the universe. The purity of your light, of your being, of your soul. Your awareness of self. Of your true self. This is the experience of who you are. You will discover as your frequency can rise into ever higher dimensions, more and more of who you are becomes available to your perception and experience. This is where you exist. This is your existence in the truth of your being. So you can now look upon the illusory third dimension matrix, the tiny part of your soul that incarnated there and developed an ego personality. And you can look upon that self with detachment, with compassion, and free from judgment. For all was created simply for the experience of it. And you can see the ego self, how it criticizes, how it judges, how it creates its own identities. And how lowly it feels about itself. And we are told this is not who you are. And having this higher experience of yourself shows you so clearly that this ego self is not you. It's a created illusion of who you think you are, or who you thought you were, for you no longer need to identify with this ego as yourself. Your worth lies in your true self. You will never find it in your ego self. And from your higher aspect, you are no longer identified with the ego personalities. You are quite neutral. You are so neutral and detached from what the ego thinks and feels. Because you know it is not the truth of who you are. So let us shine our love, our compassion upon the wounded ego. And we bring the violet fire to surround the ego self. To transmute its sorrow, its pain, its suffering back into the light. For this aspect of self, sunk into the greatest darkness, with the experience of the soul. It can now be transmuted, transformed, that it may be able to enter back into the whole. The whole of the self. So the violet fire and its Christed light engulfs the ego self, merging its light into every aspect of the lower self. That the lower self may eventually be purified, returned to love, freed from separation, and once more rejoin the whole self. I do not drop down into the lower self. I simply observe it from this higher place of truth. And the love that the ego self receives through this Christed violet light, and the love of my own soul washes away its pain, heals its traumas, and I pour my love and compassion into the wounded personality. All the guilt and shame that it has felt, all the sadness and sorrow, all the anger, resentment, and hate. Your true self has nothing to forgive. It is only the ego self that judges. And it is the ego self that is being transmuted that it may rejoin the wholeness of the soul. As its fear and lower emotions transmute back into love and light. For this was its journey, this was its purpose. And I become liberated from the lower worlds, and I become free to return to who I have always been. My consciousness expands throughout the galaxy in love. And I feel the joy of my freedom, my liberation. I have left separation and returned to the wholeness of myself. For I am divine, I am love, I am one with Source throughout all worlds and all dimensions. I am in peace.